My beloved child. Listen to me very carefully, because what I am about to say is not ordinary, not casual, and not something you hear every day. This is one of those moments where time slows down, where every second matters, and where silence itself is trying to tell you something important. Your daughter is standing at a place she never planned to reach. She is smiling on the outside, doing what she is told, behaving exactly how the world expects her to behave. But inside, something is breaking, slowly, quietly, invisibly. The most dangerous problems are never loud. They do not announce themselves. They hide behind normal routines, good behavior, and forced strength. And right now, whether you realize it or not, she is carrying something heavy alone. Not because she wants to, but because she believes you will not understand. That belief did not come from nowhere. It was built over time. Built from small moments. Missed signals. Rushed conversations. And today, those small moments have reached a turning point. This is not a story meant to scare you. This is a moment meant to wake you up. Because help is still possible. Because you are still the one person who can change everything. Because if this moment passes unnoticed, the silence will grow deeper, and the distance will become harder to cross. There is a truth most parents never hear until it is too late, and that truth is this. Children do not hide their pain because they do not trust their parents. They hide it because they love them. Your daughter does not want to be a burden. She does not want to disappoint you. She does not want to be the reason you worry at night. So she becomes strong too early. She learns how to swallow words. She learns how to nod and say she is fine. She learns how to laugh at the right time. And every time she does that, she moves one step further away from asking for help. The problem is not what she is facing. The problem is that she is facing it alone. There is something in her life right now that feels bigger than her ability to handle it. Something that keeps her awake when the lights are off. Something that makes her heart feel heavy even on normal days. You may think you would notice if something was wrong. Most parents think that. But pain has learned how to wear a disguise. And your daughter has become very good at wearing it. Pay attention to this part, because this is where everything changes. The signs are not dramatic. They never are. They are subtle. A little quieter than before. A little more distant. Less eye contact. Shorter answers. A smile that disappears too quickly. She may be doing everything right on the surface. Studying. Helping. Obeying. But inside, she is asking a question she is afraid to say out loud. She is asking if anyone would truly listen if she spoke. She is asking if her feelings would be taken seriously or brushed aside. She is asking if she is allowed to be weak without being judged. And right now, she is not sure about the answer. That uncertainty is the problem. Not the situation she is in, but the fear that she has to survive it alone. The longer that fear stays, the stronger it becomes. And once it becomes a habit, it builds a wall. A wall that even love struggles to cross. Here is the shocking part most people never realize until someone points it out. Your presence is not enough anymore. Your intention is not enough. Your love, as big as it is, needs one more thing right now. Awareness. Because your daughter is not waiting for advice. She is not waiting for solutions. She is waiting for safety. Emotional safety. The kind where she can speak without interruption. Cry without being corrected. Share without being compared. She needs to feel that her inner world matters as much as her achievements. And here is the once-in-a-lifetime truth. The moment she decides whether you are safe to talk to is not when you sit her down for a serious conversation. It is in the small moments. The way you respond when she says something unusual. The way you react when she makes a mistake. The tone you use when you are tired. These moments decide everything. And right now, those moments are deciding whether she opens up or shuts down even more. This is where your power begins, and this is why this moment is critical. You still have time. You still have access. You are still her parent. That bond is still alive. But it needs attention, not authority. Curiosity, not control. Presence, not pressure. Your daughter is not broken. She is overwhelmed. She is not lost. She is confused. And she is not weak. She is human. The problem she is in does not define her future. But how you respond in this phase will shape how safe she feels for years to come. Right now, she is standing between silence and trust. Between hiding and healing. And without even knowing it, she is waiting to see which direction you will choose. Before you dismiss this as just another emotional phase, pause for a moment and feel the weight of what is unfolding. There is a quiet storm moving through your daughter's life right now, and it is not visible from the outside. She wakes up every day carrying a responsibility she never chose. Expectations. Comparisons. Unspoken pressure. The fear of failing someone she loves. She is trying to balance who she is with who she is expected to be, and that gap is exhausting her. What makes this moment shocking is not the problem itself, but the fact that she believes she must solve it alone. She believes that asking for help might make her look weak, dramatic, or misunderstood. That belief did not appear suddenly. It grew from silence. From moments where she felt unheard. From times when her emotions were minimized without intention. Right now, she is not asking for answers. She is asking for permission to feel. And if that permission does not come soon, she will learn to lock her emotions away where even you cannot reach them. Let me tell you something most parents never hear clearly. Your daughter is not afraid of the problem she is facing. She is afraid of the reaction she might get if she talks about it. She is measuring every word in her head before speaking. She is predicting outcomes. She is asking herself whether honesty will bring comfort or conflict. And every time she chooses silence, that silence becomes heavier. She may still sit next to you. She may still follow routines. She may still say she is fine. But emotionally, she is slowly stepping back. Not because she does not love you, but because she does not feel safe enough to be fully seen. This is the invisible danger. Not rebellion. Not failure. Emotional withdrawal. Once a child learns to emotionally self-isolate, even love struggles to feel warm. That is why this phase matters more than any rule, any lecture, or any achievement. Here is the part that might surprise you. Your daughter is watching you more closely now than ever before. Not your words, but your reactions. Not your advice, but your patience. She notices how you respond to stress. How you speak when you are disappointed. How quickly you judge situations you do not fully understand. She is learning, silently, whether emotions are safe to express in this environment. And here is the powerful truth. You do not need to be perfect to help her. You need to be present in a way she can feel. Presence means slowing down. Presence means listening without fixing. Presence means asking gentle questions and allowing pauses. When she senses that you are not rushing to conclusions, her defenses begin to soften. When she feels that her emotions will not be corrected or compared, she begins to breathe easier. That is when trust starts rebuilding, quietly, naturally, without force. Now understand this clearly, because this is where many parents make a critical mistake. Trying to control the situation will push her further away. Trying to interrogate her will make her retreat. Trying to scare her with future consequences will shut her down completely. What she needs is not pressure. It is reassurance. Reassurance that her feelings are valid even if you do not fully understand them yet. Reassurance that she is not alone even when she feels lost. Reassurance that home is not a place where she has to perform, but a place where she can rest emotionally. This reassurance does not come from one big speech. It comes from consistency. From calm responses. From small moments where you choose empathy over authority. Each of those moments sends a powerful message. I am here. I am listening. You are safe with me. This is why this moment is once in a lifetime. Because the window you are in right now will not stay open forever. If she feels supported now, she will remember this phase as the time she learned to trust you deeply. If she feels dismissed now, she will remember this as the time she learned to handle everything alone. And that lesson lasts for years. Your daughter is not asking you to solve her life. She is asking you to stand beside her while she figures it out. The problem she is in can be faced. The confusion she feels can be eased. The fear she carries can be shared. But only if she knows that when she finally speaks, she will be met with understanding, not judgment. This is the turning point. And what you choose to do next will echo far beyond today. There is a moment that arrives quietly, almost invisibly, when a child decides how much of their inner world they will ever share again. This moment is not dramatic. It does not come with tears or raised voices. It comes in silence. Your daughter may already be standing inside that moment right now. She is observing. She is remembering. She is connecting dots between past reactions and future risks. And she is asking herself a question that will shape her emotional life for years. Is it safe to let them see the real me? This is not about rebellion or disobedience. This is about emotional survival. When a child senses that their vulnerability might be misunderstood, they learn to protect it. They build an inner room where thoughts are kept locked away. From the outside, everything looks normal. From the inside, loneliness grows. The shock is not that she is struggling. The shock is that she has learned how to struggle quietly. That ability, once learned, becomes hard to unlearn. What makes this phase dangerous is not what she is facing, but what she is learning from it. She is learning how the world responds when she is unsure. She is learning whether emotions are welcome or inconvenient. She is learning whether love is conditional on performance. And these lessons do not come from lectures. They come from patterns. From repeated experiences. From tone. From timing. From what is said, and what is ignored. If she senses that her worth is measured by results, she will hide failure. If she senses that her feelings cause discomfort, she will bury them. And once that habit forms, it becomes her default response not just with you, but with everyone. Friends. Teachers. Partners. The problem in front of her today is shaping the woman she will become tomorrow. That is why this matters more than it appears. Here is the part that most parents never expect. Your daughter does not need you to agree with everything she feels. She needs you to respect that she feels it. There is a powerful difference. Respect says, I may not fully understand yet, but I am willing to listen. Dismissal says, your feelings are inconvenient. She can sense that difference instantly. When respect is present, her nervous system relaxes. Her thoughts slow down. Her fear loses strength. When dismissal appears, even unintentionally, her walls go up. She becomes careful. Guarded. Strategic. She starts choosing words instead of sharing truth. And once that pattern sets in, conversations become shallow even when intentions are good. The tragedy is that love can be present, but felt as distant. That distance is not created by lack of care. It is created by lack of emotional safety. There is something else happening beneath the surface that deserves your attention. Your daughter is forming her inner voice right now. The voice that will speak to her when she fails. The voice that will guide her when she is confused. The voice that will comfort her when no one else is around. That voice is built from the voices she hears today. If she hears patience, she learns patience with herself. If she hears criticism, she learns harsh self-judgment. If she hears understanding, she learns self-compassion. This is a once-in-a-lifetime construction phase. You cannot rebuild this voice later with advice. It is being written now, line by line, reaction by reaction. And the problem she is in is acting like pressure on that process. Pressure can either shape strength or create cracks. The difference is support. This is why your role right now is irreplaceable. Not as a fixer. Not as a controller. But as an anchor. An anchor does not move the storm. It keeps the ship steady within it. Your daughter does not need certainty from you. She needs steadiness. She needs to feel that even when she is unsure, even when she is overwhelmed, even when she does not have answers, she is not alone. The moment she feels that truth deeply, something shifts. Fear loses its grip. Silence loosens. Trust begins to return. The problem she is facing does not disappear instantly. But its weight becomes bearable. And that is how healing starts. Not loudly. Not suddenly. But in the quiet relief of knowing that someone is finally standing beside her without judgment. At some point, every child reaches a silent crossroads, and the choice made there is rarely spoken out loud. Your daughter is approaching that point now. One path leads to openness, where she slowly learns that sharing her inner world is safe. The other leads to isolation, where she becomes emotionally independent too early. That second path often looks like strength from the outside. She becomes capable, responsible, self-contained. But inside, it is heavy. Because strength built without support turns into loneliness. This is the shocking reality most people miss. A child who never asks for help is not always confident. Sometimes, she has simply learned that help does not arrive. The problem she is in is pushing her toward one of these paths. And your response, even more than her circumstances, will decide which direction she takes. Notice how carefully she manages herself now. How she avoids becoming a problem. How she downplays her struggles. How she says she is fine even when something feels off. This is not maturity. This is adaptation. She has adapted to an environment where emotions must be managed quietly. That adaptation once helped her cope. Now, it is hurting her. Because emotions that are not expressed do not disappear. They settle. They wait. They resurface later in ways that are harder to understand. The danger is not today's problem. The danger is the lesson she learns about handling pain. If she learns that pain should be hidden, she will hide it again and again. Even from herself. And that is how people grow distant from their own needs. There is a moment you must be ready for, and it may not look how you expect. She may not come to you crying. She may not ask directly for help. She may test you instead. A small comment. A casual statement. A question that sounds ordinary but carries weight underneath. These are not random. They are invitations. Quiet ones. She is checking whether it is safe to go deeper. Whether you will listen or dismiss. Whether you will stay calm or react. The tragedy is that many invitations are missed because they do not look urgent. But for her, they are everything. One thoughtful response can open a door. One careless reaction can close it for a long time. Understand this clearly. You do not have to say the perfect thing. Perfection creates pressure. What matters is tone. Pace. Willingness. Saying, "I am here, and I want to understand," is more powerful than any solution. Silence, when respectful, can be supportive. A pause can feel like permission. When you allow her to speak without interruption, something remarkable happens. She begins to organize her own thoughts. She hears herself. She feels seen. That experience alone reduces emotional weight. The problem she is in may still exist, but it no longer feels like a secret. And secrets are what make problems grow heavier than they need to be. This is the once-in-a-lifetime truth you must hold on to. Trust is not built by force. It is built by repeated safety. Small moments where she learns that her honesty will not be punished. Small moments where emotions are met with curiosity instead of correction. Over time, these moments change everything. They tell her that she does not have to choose between being loved and being real. The crossroads she is facing does not announce itself. It passes quietly. But its impact lasts for years. If you meet her there with patience, you change the direction of her emotional life. And that change begins not with a grand action, but with your willingness to truly stay present when it matters most. There is something happening inside your daughter that words have not yet learned how to describe. It feels like pressure without a clear source. Like standing in a crowded room and still feeling alone. She is trying to make sense of emotions that arrive all at once and leave her confused. This is the phase where many children stop trusting their own feelings because no one has helped them name them. When emotions feel unclear, they feel frightening. And when they feel frightening, silence feels safer. This is the hidden layer of the problem she is in. Not the event. Not the situation. But the emotional confusion it has created. Confusion drains energy. It makes simple days feel heavy. It makes small decisions feel overwhelming. And from the outside, none of this is visible. Here is a truth that changes everything once you see it. Your daughter is not waiting for the right moment to speak. She is waiting for the right response. She is watching for signs that her emotions will be handled gently. She is sensing whether her words will be met with patience or urgency. Many parents believe children open up when they are ready. In reality, children open up when the environment feels safe enough. Safety is not created by asking questions repeatedly. It is created by how you react when she shares something small. Those small shares are rehearsals. Each one is her testing the ground. If the ground feels steady, she steps forward. If it feels unstable, she steps back. Right now, every reaction you have carries more weight than you realize. There is a powerful shift that happens when a child feels emotionally supported. The problem stops feeling like a personal failure and starts feeling like a shared challenge. That shift reduces shame. It reduces fear. It restores balance. Your daughter does not need you to take over her struggle. She needs to know she is not facing it alone. That knowledge changes how her mind processes stress. It changes how she sleeps. It changes how she sees herself. Support does not remove difficulty, but it makes difficulty survivable. Without support, even small problems feel unbearable. With support, even large problems can be faced with courage. Be aware of this critical detail. When children feel unsupported, they often blame themselves. They assume their feelings are wrong. They assume they are overreacting. They assume they should be stronger. This internal blame becomes a quiet habit. A habit that follows them into adulthood. The problem your daughter is in is not just external. It is interacting with her sense of self. And right now, that sense of self is still forming. Every message she receives about her emotions becomes part of how she treats herself later. Compassion received becomes compassion internalized. Dismissal received becomes self-dismissal. This is not dramatic. This is developmental. And it is happening right now. This is why your role cannot be delayed or minimized. You are not late. But you are needed now. Not tomorrow. Not when things become obvious. Now. Because your daughter is still listening. Still hoping. Still deciding. The way you show up in this phase will quietly define how safe she feels in relationships, how she handles stress, and how much she trusts her own emotions. The problem she is in can be resolved. But the lesson she learns from it will stay. And that lesson is being written in the space between her silence and your response. Something subtle is happening now, and it is easy to miss if you are not looking closely. Your daughter is beginning to decide how much effort honesty requires. When honesty feels costly, silence feels efficient. She is calculating risk in ways that children should not have to. Will this create tension? Will this lead to misunderstanding? Will this change how I am seen? These questions run quietly in the background of her mind. The shocking truth is that this mental calculation is exhausting her more than the problem itself. Carrying unspoken thoughts consumes emotional energy every single day. That is why she may seem tired without a clear reason. Distant without explanation. It is not laziness. It is emotional fatigue. And emotional fatigue, when ignored, slowly reshapes personality. It makes people cautious. It makes them guarded. It makes them quieter than they truly are. Here is something most people never talk about. Children learn how to regulate emotions by borrowing regulation from adults. When a parent stays calm, present, and patient, the child's nervous system learns how to settle. When a parent reacts with urgency or frustration, the child's system stays on alert. Your daughter is still borrowing from you, even if she does not show it. She watches how you handle uncertainty. She listens to how you speak about problems. She absorbs the emotional atmosphere more than the words themselves. Right now, she needs signals of steadiness. Signals that say, emotions are manageable here. Problems can be discussed without fear. When those signals are consistent, her internal tension begins to release. That release is not dramatic. It is felt as relief. As ease. As the quiet return of trust. There is a common misunderstanding that strength means independence. In reality, true strength develops through safe connection. Your daughter does not become resilient by being left alone with her struggles. She becomes resilient by being supported while facing them. Support teaches her that difficulty is part of life, not a personal flaw. It teaches her that asking for help is not failure. It teaches her that relationships are resources, not threats. Without this learning, she may grow capable but disconnected. Successful but lonely. Calm on the surface but restless inside. The problem she is in right now is offering a lesson. Either that connection is reliable, or that self-reliance is the only option. One lesson builds confidence. The other builds isolation. Pay attention to how moments end. Not how they begin. A conversation that ends with understanding lingers positively. A conversation that ends with tension lingers painfully. Your daughter remembers endings more than openings. She remembers how she felt walking away. relieved or heavy, heard or misunderstood. Those feelings accumulate. They form expectations. And expectations shape behavior. If she expects understanding, she will approach you again. If she expects dismissal, she will retreat. This is not about one conversation. It is about patterns. Patterns quietly decide whether distance grows or dissolves. Right now, the pattern is still flexible. Still open to change. This is why your presence matters in ways that cannot be measured. You are not just responding to a problem. You are shaping an emotional environment. An environment where your daughter learns whether her inner world has a place. The problem she is in will eventually change. Situations always do. But the emotional memory of this phase will remain. She will remember whether she felt supported when she was unsure. Whether she felt accepted when she was confused. Whether she felt safe when she did not have answers. Those memories become her reference point for future challenges. And that is why what you do now matters more than you think.